Hello, and welcome back to another video slash journal entry of mine, I guess. Um, it is 10:30 p.m. where I am right now. I've got my cup of coffee, so let's get into it. I understand that this topic isn't going to resonate with everyone, and that's okay. Um, but if what I'm about to describe sounds like you, not only would I highly suggest that you stick around for the entirety of the video, but I really do encourage you to comment about your experience because honestly, I feel pretty alone in a lot of this stuff, especially what I'm about to talk about in this video. Whenever I explain this to people, I honestly, the majority of people just kind of like laugh it off, like I'm overthinking, which I probably am, but that's part of the issue, right? But anyway, being a small creator, I do read every single comment. I've only had a few, so obviously I'm reading all of them, and I reply to all of them as well. So, if you keep telling yourself you'll finally relax once you reach the next goal, only to feel restless again whenever you get there. If your life is going fine on paper, but slowing down makes you feel guilty and like your days off feel wasted, as soon as you accomplish something, it loses its weight almost immediately. And no matter how much progress you make, some part of you feels like you should still be doing more. If it feels like the people closest to you praise you for your accomplishments and you feel like it all means nothing, or like those people love you, so they have to say those things, or you downplay all of the achievements that you accomplish, I want to explore this topic with you because that really is how I feel, and I have felt that way for a long time. And I thought that I was restless because I was in the wrong career. And admittingly, I most definitely was in the wrong career. But now that I'm in a new career, I've been in this career for about a year now, and I've dreamed of doing this for a long time. I'm still restless. After the excitement of changing careers and all of the life changes that came with that died down, I am still restless, and I still feel like it's never enough. And I could lay out all of these accomplishments that I've already had in this new career, but that would definitely just feel and sound like I'm bragging. And I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to paint myself as some kind of like superhuman that climbs Mount Everest and I'm still not satisfied. Like I'm not like that. I'm just saying that nothing ever feels like it's enough for me. I think you get the point. Like a never-ending treadmill of achievements that leave me feeling empty and like I could have done more. So let's talk about that. You spend months or maybe years imagining how life is going to be different once you accomplish a certain goal, once you get the job, once you move to that new place, once you make enough money, once you get in shape, once you finally become the person that you've been trying to become. And for a while, after you accomplish this thing, it feels incredible. You're excited, you're relieved, which is a very specific word. You're proud of yourself. I believe that a lot of the feeling that we get after these accomplishments, if you do feel the way that I do about these things, is relieved. But eventually, the feeling fades, and the thing that you wanted becomes part of your normal life again. And before long, your attention moves towards whatever's still missing. If you recognize that feeling, I'm not going to tell you to stop being ambitious. I just want to figure out why ambition so easily turns into the belief that your life as it exists right now is never enough. And I should probably say up front, I obviously have not figured this out myself. I'm not making this video from the other side of the problem. I'm making it because I still experience it all the time. Like I said earlier, I recently changed careers. After thinking about it for years, I found stable work that feels useful and real. I accomplished something that for a long time felt like it was going to be this massive dividing line in my life. And it genuinely did improve my life, but eventually the restlessness came back. And that forced me to consider something that I didn't really want to admit, that maybe my circumstances weren't the only thing making me feel restless. Maybe I'd also developed a way of relating to life where there always had to be another problem to solve. And that brings up this idea, this psychological idea that has been called the hedonic treadmill. Basically, Humans have an incredible ability to adapt to changes in their lives. Something new can make us happier for a while, but as we become accustomed to it, the emotional effect begins to fade, and the extraordinary becomes ordinary. And I experienced this when I moved to Utah, which is where I live now, back in 2017. And I remember how different everything felt. Like, I moved from out east, so the landscape was completely new to me. The mountains were unbelievable. I'd never seen anything that big in my life. And I could drive down an ordinary road and feel like I was somewhere people would travel across the country to visit. And then I lived here long enough, and the mountains didn't disappear. I just stopped noticing them in the same way, and they became the background behind the grocery store. The same thing happened to me when I moved into my townhouse. Then again, whenever I moved into the current apartment that I'm in a location that I really wanted to be in. At first, the new place changes the way you feel every time you walk in the door, and eventually it's just where laundry needs to be done. And I think expecting one accomplishment to make us happy forever is an unreasonable expectation in the first place. It's like expecting a meal to be so good that you'll never have to eat again. Like, a great meal can satisfy you, it can be worth looking forward to and fully enjoying in the moment, but eventually you're going to be hungry again. And that doesn't mean there was something wrong with the meal. Maybe goals work the same way. Getting what we want can make us happy. It just can't make us happy forever. The problem begins when we expect one achievement to permanently remove a need that will naturally keep returning. And I've always thought to myself that, like, I don't really dream about owning some enormous house with an incredible view. Not because it wouldn't be awesome, but because I know what would happen. Like, for the first few months, I would walk over to the window, I would stare outside, I would be in awe at the view, and then eventually it would just become the window behind the TV. Just think about the things that you have now that you dreamed of having before. That doesn't mean that there's no value in improving your circumstances. Obviously, a safer home, a better job, more money, or a healthier body can make a real difference in your life. But I think we get into trouble when we expect an improvement to remain emotionally new forever. Maybe the achievement worked exactly as it was supposed to. We just expected the feeling it created to last longer than feelings normally do. And then once that feeling fades, we misinterpret what happened. We don't think I adapted to something good. We think, I guess that wasn't enough either. So we find the next thing, and the goal moves slightly farther away, and we start running again. And I think social media makes this much worse because it constantly resets our understanding of what a normal life looks like. You can open your phone, within 5 minutes, you see 10 different things. You see a kid making $1 million, you see someone traveling around the world in these beautiful places, you see somebody just sitting in an unbelievable house on a day that you would be at work, and someone at the gym with a body that looks impossible to get. You're seeing the most exceptional people around the world at their most exceptional time in life, and it's just the highlight reel. And then you put your phone down and you return back to your completely normal life. You go to work, you make food, you clean your place, you pay a bill, you sit on the couch. Nothing is necessarily wrong, but now your life feels strangely small compared to what you just saw. The problem isn't only that other people appear more successful, it's that we rarely see the full reality surrounding their success. We see the body, but we don't see the years behind it, the genetics, the sacrifices, the insecurities that they may have, or everything else involved. We see the money, but we don't see the risk, the help, the luck, the obsession, or the parts of life that they may have neglected. We see a 20-second moment where someone appears to be winning at life, and our brain treats it like a complete picture. You can be having a perfectly decent day, see one person doing something extraordinary, and suddenly feel like you've wasted your entire life. And that is very true for me. That feeling can turn productivity into something much more serious than getting things done. Productivity becomes how we prove that we matter. A productive day starts to mean I'm disciplined and I'm moving forward and I'm not wasting my life. And an unproductive day means I'm lazy, I'm failing, I'm falling behind, I'm becoming a loser. And once productivity becomes connected to your worth, rest stops feeling like rest. It feels like you're temporarily failing to justify your existence. I've noticed this on my own days off. I can have a stable job, pay my bills, exercise, handle everything I actually needed to handle, and still feel bad because I didn't build something with the remaining hours. And I'll think, like, I should start a business. I should be making more money with this time that I have left. I should be learning a new skill. I should be creating another video or finding a new mission of some kind. None of those things are bad. It's just the problem is the feeling underneath them. It isn't I enjoy creating things. Maybe I would enjoy creating this thing. It's I need to create something today so that it counts, so that today matters. And that difference matters, because if only productive days count, most of your life is going to feel like a disappointment. Like, the truth is, most days aren't going to be exceptional. Most days are maintenance. You get ready, you go to work, you drive home, you cook, you clean, you exercise, you play a game, you go to sleep. And we tend to remember our lives through the peaks, the major accomplishments, and the vacations and the adventures. But those moments make up a very tiny percentage of our actual time being alive. If we believe meaning should always feel intense, then ordinary life begins to feel like waiting for the next trip, or waiting for the next career move, waiting for something to happen that makes us feel important again. But maybe ordinary days aren't the empty space between the important parts of life. Maybe they're what life is actually made from. I don't think the answer is to pretend that doing laundry is as exciting as traveling across the world, because obviously it isn't. I don't think you could possibly trick your brain into thinking that. But maybe the answer is simply to stop requiring every day to prove that our life is extraordinary. Some days might be allowed to exist without becoming evidence of anything. But that creates another problem. When there's no goal to chase and there's no problem to solve, we're left alone with ourselves. Busyness gives life structure. There is always a next step, another task, another improvement, something we can point towards and say, that's what I'm doing right now. But when everything gets quiet, those less comfortable feelings can appear, like loneliness and boredom and grief, maybe unprocessed grief from things that has happened in the past, or uncertainty, or the fear that we don't actually know what all this effort is building towards. I don't think that I'm addicted to the achievements themselves. I think I'm addicted to how I feel when I have the direction that a goal gives me, that the achievement gives me. Like, when I'm pursuing something, I know what today is for. And without that pursuit, I have to decide whether today can be valuable on its own. And honestly, I don't know how to do that. I guess one possible response is to deliberately keep parts of life that don't produce anything. Reading something without needing to finish a certain number of books, playing a game without it turning into content, going somewhere without documenting it, making something badly without the need to sell it. Those activities can feel almost irresponsible when you're used to measuring everything through progress. I'm gonna be honest with you, one of the reasons why I started making these videos is because I needed some kind of reason behind wanting to play video games. Like I've mentioned before, I'm on night shift right now. It's why I'm drinking coffee at 10:30 at night. There's not a lot of productive things that I can be doing at 2 a.m. I make all my meals, I clean my place, I go to the gym, I do my laundry, and by the time that I'm done with all of that, it's like midnight. And I have to stay up till 5 or 6 or my schedule's going to be off. So I watch TV shows and play games. I'm watching House of the Dragon right now, and I'm usually playing World of Warcraft or Rocket League or something. And that's a very real example of what I'm talking about. I feel guilty when I'm relaxing, even when everything is done. So I add this additional purpose behind playing video games, and that's to make content. I record the gameplay and I turn it into this content because just playing games leaves this very uncomfortable feeling in the background that I could be doing more. But maybe the discomfort is actually why these activities matter. Maybe they give us an opportunity to discover whether we can enjoy being alive without turning every hour into a transaction with our future. The part that I struggle with the most is the fear that contentment will make me complacent. A lot of ambitious people have used dissatisfaction as fuel for most of their lives. Feeling behind made them work harder. Feeling inadequate made them improve. Restlessness made them take more risks. Self-criticism may have genuinely helped them accomplish things or get jacked in the gym. So when someone says you should learn to be content, it kind of sounds like they're asking me to surrender or to be average, and I don't want to be average. If I decide that my life is enough, will I stop growing? If I stop feeling behind, where will my motivation come from? If I'm not running away from the inadequacy that I feel about myself, what fuel am I supposed to use? And I don't think those are ridiculous fears. Dissatisfaction is powerful fuel. The problem is that it burns the person using it. You might travel a long way on the belief that you aren't good enough, but no achievement can ever allow you to stop, because stopping would mean confronting the belief you used to get there. So maybe the goal isn't to eliminate ambition, it's just to change what the ambition is powered by. There's a big difference between building because you're curious about what you could be creating and building because you need the finished product to prove that you matter. And this channel is also kind of a test for me in that regard. I used to run a YouTube channel for the company that I worked for. The channel wasn't huge by any means, but we would get thousands of views, and we hit around 80,000 subscribers before I left. And all of that was fueled by analytics and comparison and feeling behind rather than creating out of inspiration. And all of those analytics felt like failures compared to who we were modeling after. So this channel is a way for me to create without any of those expectations. And honestly, I've been really enjoying it. Like, I hit 10 subscribers the other day, and it was a crazy feeling to me because I'm talking about exactly what I want to be talking about, and there's at least 10 people that want to keep listening. So that's pretty cool. The action of creating that first channel and the action of creating this channel, they might look identical from the outside, but the internal experience is completely different. So maybe contentment doesn't mean saying, I never want anything else. Maybe it means saying, I can want something else without treating my current life as worthless. Going back to contentment, I don't think it's saying, I never want anything else. I'm happy with everything that I have now, so I won't strive for anything else. I think it's just saying, I can want something else without treating my current life like it's worthless. I'm trying to think of contentment less as reaching the end and more as changing the relationship I have with the starting point. I can appreciate what exists now and still participate in what comes next. That's called gratitude. I can be proud of progress before moving the goalposts. I can pursue growth without making self-rejection the entry fee. Practically, I think that starts with becoming more honest about what we're asking our goals to do for us. Every goal seems to contain a hidden emotional promise, like, once I make enough money, I'll feel safe. And once I get in shape, I will feel more confident about myself. And once people recognize my work, I'll feel valuable. Once I become successful, I'll finally accept myself. And that last one might be the real problem. Ambition can become a way of postponing self-acceptance. We tell ourselves we'll be allowed to respect ourselves later once we've gathered enough evidence. But later just keeps moving. The person that we are today is always the unfinished version. The future person is always the one who will finally deserve peace. And I'm not sure there's an accomplishment capable of fixing that, because self-worth was never supposed to be an award handed to us at the end of a performance. Accomplishments can give us confidence, they can make us competent and make us proud, but if we need them to establish our basic value as a person, they will always be carrying more weight than they can hold. So one thing that I'm trying to do personally is ask a second question whenever I become obsessed with a goal. Not only what do I want, but what am I expecting this to prove about me? If I want more money, do I want freedom or do I want to feel superior? If I want more views, do I actually want to reach more people, or does the number confirm that I'm creating something that's worthwhile? If I want to be more productive, is there something meaningful that I want to build, or am I just afraid of how I feel when I stop? I don't think we'll always like that answer. And I think that those are the questions that people don't ask because they're uncomfortable, but at least it gives us the opportunity to pursue the actual need instead of endlessly chasing symbols of it. Maybe we can define what enough looks like before the goalpost moves again. Maybe we can record our progress before adaptation erases the contrasts, or build several sources of meaning: work, relationships, faith, creativity, adventure, instead of demanding all of that be provided by one achievement. And maybe we can practice letting ordinary days count. I still want to improve, I want to create, I want to travel and get better at my work, but I'm beginning to question the idea that restlessness is the only thing capable of moving me forward. Maybe there are other kinds of fuel: curiosity, responsibility, love, service, the enjoyment of just knowing that I'm capable, desire, to create something that didn't exist before. Those forms of ambition may not feel as desperate, but that doesn't necessarily make them weaker. Maybe the real test of contentment isn't whether you stop moving, maybe it's whether you can move towards something new without constantly running away from yourself. Anyways, before I go, I just want to say that this channel has become something really personal to me. These videos give me a place to work through things that I'm still trying to understand in my own life. So when someone watches one and they leave a thoughtful comment or tell me that something I said connected with them, it genuinely means a lot. And I know this is still a very small channel, but I also know that those are real people on the other side of these numbers. So the fact that any of you choose to spend part of your day here is something that I don't take for granted. So thank you for watching, seriously, for sharing your own experiences, making this feel like more than just me talking into a microphone. So I really appreciate you being here, like I said, and I will see you in the next one.